Okay, hello. I just want to jump on here and let you know about Larry Ballard. So I just posted a video on Insights 21 about that, but let's go to this, and I'm just going to highlight this video and I'll put a link in.
All right, folks, here's where we're at. Yeah, I want to do this on behalf of God, on behalf of all of God's children out there. There's a lot of people who just don't believe that it's possible to have a financial reset that transfers wealth from the wicked to the righteous. It can make you wealthy overnight. So what I'm going to do is talk about the reset that's coming. It's going to affect the paper currency, silver, crypto, all of it. This is the beginning. The next week,
we're already seeing it, man. The XRP and silver's shooting up right now.
Yep. So it's going to really kick in. And so basically next week we got the Genius Act coming in. We got all kinds of stuff happening. So basically, but I want to focus on one particular investment right now, the Viet Dong, because it's cheap, because people can get in and buy it. It's only $60 to buy $1 million worth of Viet Dong. And if the numbers that I'm hearing are true, it's going to value to $2. So $60 buys you $1 million Dong, which then multiplies and becomes 2 billion. So it's a risk reward ratio that says, my God, for $60, you might be worth 2 million bucks. So let's dig into it. And we're going to lay down the foundation for why what Nino said is happening. The reset is in play right now. It's beginning. So let's go to the next slide. Nino says he's got a short timeline, so I'm going to talk fast. All right, here's what's happening. For decades, all the way back to Andrew Jackson, if you tried to bring in a silver, a gold, or something to happen, let's go to the next slide and let's see what that means.
Especially when Powell steps down from the Federal Reserve, that's going to cause a lot of chaos within the markets, correct?
Yep, and
that's going to be the big sign right there. That's going to be the.
You nailed it. You nailed it, Nino. That's exactly what's coming. So here's
Do you
what
think
happens.
that's coming this week? I heard it could be coming this coming week. I heard like.
Well, I mean, I hear the same things you do, and I usually say, well, let's wait and see.
Yeah, but I mean, all right, fair enough.
It's imminent. So here's what happens after that happens, and after we get out from under the Federal Reserve. We no longer have a fiat system. We have a system backed by gold, by silver.
Well, let me ask you this: Are we gonna be a cashless society?
Someday, but not immediately. What we're going to run on QSF, on Quantum Financial System, and basically, it's like they've always said: when we go to a digital currency, that's gold and silver and oil tankers. You have to have something that fractionalizes it. That is XRP and XLM. So we'll go to a digital commodity, and then what happens is you can't manipulate.
But what about the people that hold on, time out? What about when you keep the XRP on an exchange? Do you have to put it on the wallet? What do you do here, man? I mean, it's a pain in the ass to put it in the wallet, by the way.
Well, that's a whole show in and of itself.
I mean, it's just so complicated, man.
You're talking about there'll still be currencies. We've already got currencies printed. It's called rainbow currencies. People who want to use currency can use currency. But we're going to go generally, right now, 98% of all transactions are already done digitally. So they're going to simplify this as we roll into this. Now it's complicated. It won't be. We'll get regulatory clarity, and we'll be able to go out just like you do with PayPal, and you can transact electronically in crypto, but you won't even know you're doing it. So right now it's complicated, but it's not going to be. They're going to simplify it and roll it out. But here's what happens. So now when you're under a commodity-backed system that has true value, you can't manipulate things. So the inflation we've encountered goes away. The deflation goes away. You have pricing stability. We don't have wage suppression anymore. We don't have stock market manipulations, booms and busts. We don't have national consumer debt. We're going to get our debt paid off. We don't have poverty and division that separates all the nations of the world and leads to war. We have global conflicts are going to go away because all nations are going to be relatively at parity in terms of their economic status. And we won't have people starving around the world. So let's go on down to the next, and I think I'm going to finish within your time frame. So let's go to the next slide. This is the gift that I think God wanted me to give to you. I could talk about the dinar, but the dinar, as over time, has gotten expensive to buy. For $500,000 dinar right now, I think it's 500,000. I haven't bought any in years, but I did recently buy some dong, and it's only $60 to buy $1 million in Dong. And the numbers I've been hearing flying around are that it's probably going to revalue at $2. So if you spend $60 and bought $1 million Dong, theoretically you could walk away with $2 million. So now I ask you this, that's a tank and a half of gasoline. So I always look at things as risk reward. So if I talk to you about buying XRP or buying the DAR, you might be looking at spending a lot of money, but here for just a little, you might become a millionaire. So the risk reward, $60 may get you nothing, or it may get you $2 million. So I say most everybody out there can afford $60. God wants you to know that. And then guess what happens? If this goes first, and then there are other currencies that haven't proved they're stable, say the Bolivar, say it revalues in a couple of months, then you can take the money you made off of the Dong and buy some Bolivar. I don't know where silver is going to come in, but we're kicking up against that blockage that we face. Everybody says it's got to go above 30 and stay above 30, and then it might break out to 50. And then when it breaks up to 50, what's going to happen? We might have an opportunity to have it go back to the ratio that it's had with gold for eons, which is 16 silver coins buys you 1 gold coin. And if you do that, that means silver would probably go to $120 to $200 an ounce. That's imminently, it's just right at that door. And then we look at what's happening with Bitcoin. And then we look at the Genius Act coming out next week. We look at the probability that the XRP case is going to be finally resolved. And we look at the fact that ISO 2 2022 compliancy is kicking in on July the 4th, and the Genius Act on top of that, which is all the crypto stuff. And basically the stage is set for the financial transfer of wealth from the wicked to the righteous. And I picked the Vietnam Dong here because it represents the least investment that you can make in order to maybe come away a millionaire. All of those other investments are excellent, but I wanted to say, I want to give a blessing to the maximum number of people. This is the cheapest buy-in you can have in order to walk away with $1 million. And we've got shows coming up next week that we're going to dig deeper and deeper and deeper into this, but I believe it's starting now. I don't know. I don't think it'll all happen in one day, but once it happens, I think it's going to bam, 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 pretty fast. And I think by the fall, here's what happens with XRP. XRP, they're now admitting it was always intended to be the rails for transfer of money from nation to nation. And that's all set up in what Trump is doing with these bills. And so basically what happens with XRP, it's going to jump as ISO 2 22 compliance comes in, as regulatory clarity comes in, but the real gains are going to happen when it's implemented. So trillions of dollars start to get traded, and guess what? It's already been happening, not internationally, but within the banking system from peer-to-peer banks. They've been running it for 3 years at volume. They know it works. And so what's Garland now said? He said, one day we're going to flip a switch. And when we flip a switch, the retail market is going to be too expensive for most people, and you'll be locked out. So I'm trying to give people some sense of urgency that says, I don't know when they're going to flip that switch, but it looks like everything is in place so they can flip it anytime they want. So I believe that God wants as many of his children as possible to be able to have this wealth transfer, and he's going to give it primarily to those that will share it with the world. So I'm trying to raise the flag and say, I don't know what the timing is, but I think if I analyze everything, that by the end of this year, the whole financial reset is going to have occurred, but it's triggering right now. So Nino, that's everything I've got, unless you've got some comments to make.
Well,
Go on down to the next slide. I want you to look at this, folks, and I want to thank you. I now have got all the money I need to print my next book.
You got it?
So do not donate. I'm over the top. We're there.
Wow.
I want to thank everybody who donated. And even something else happened. I'm launching my own new platform. I'm going to have Liberty Crusade. I'm doing this with a brand new camera. A lady donated $1,000 to take me over the top on the book. And then she turned around and donated money for equipment. And so basically her name, I made a mistake the other day. I thanked her on air, and her name is Randy, and I used he. So it is a very sweet lady named Randy. So basically, we're over the top. Do not send us any money. We do not need it. The book should be coming out. I'm having a conference call with my publisher on Monday. And if everything is on track, it should be out by around August the 15th.
That's
So
amazing, Larry.
thank you. What?
That's amazing.
It is amazing. But God's a God who keeps his promises. And so, folks, if Nino can have me back next week, I've got something queued up for the big beautiful deal, and then I'm working on something for the Genius Act. But I'm sure he's got multiple sources.
No.
Just
You
keep your eyes
come
out
on
for
anytime.
those
Just text
topics.
me. Just text me.
Okay. So
Got it.
unless you've got questions or comments, Nino, we've
No,
made it
this is you laid it all out. I don't really have any questions. I'm good to go.
okay. That's
Wow.
the end.
So
then.
what so I do have a question actually. So we're going to kind of be
Okay.
running side by side with the Federal Reserve for coexisting with them for a while until it switches over.
Well, I can't say for certain, but I can look at footsteps. So what we're seeing right now is we're seeing the head of the Fed looking like he's going to
Yeah.
lose his job, right?
Right.
And then we're seeing all these things. There's currency things that people don't think about. So as we go through this, basically, we're going to start getting money in from the tariffs, right? Well, that money can be used to pay down our national debt. And then when the currencies revaluate, well, guess what? America has trillions of dollars of Viet Dong and of dinar. And guess what? That's trillions coming into the U.S. National Treasury that we can do what with? Pay off some of our national debt. That's us getting out from under the Fed. And then we have millions within our community, right? And guess what? When we make our millions, the government reaches its hand out and says, you owe us money. So the government gets more money. So there's a whole bunch of things coming. And for example, gold right now, you were talking about gold and silver. It's on our treasuries on the books at $40 an ounce. Trump has just announced he's going to revalue gold. It's
Wow.
selling at 3,000. So guess what that does? That takes all the gold we've got and it makes it multiply and worth more. All of those factors are going to come together and roll over money that we can use to pay our national debt off. Will we go to zero? I don't know, but we could. But it looks like we're going to get out of the Fed. And so we have to look at all these revenue streams that are being created by what Trump is doing and saying we can pay down that debt, pay down that debt, pay down that debt. And for the first time in history, we might get out from under the fiat system, go to a commodity-backed system, then it cannot be manipulated. And America comes through this with a soft collapse. And here's what we're going to do for the world. We became the wealthiest nation in the world in 34 years following the Civil War when we invented the Industrial Revolution. A whole bunch of those patents were sequestered and never given to us. But with what Trump did with the Chevron deal, there's 6,000 U.S. patents that we're going to get access to, and they're going to give us virtually free energy. We're going to get out from under the lying $93 trillion Green New Deal. And when you look at what's going to happen, which I can do in other shows, the cost of everything you buy as a retail purchase is going to be 40 or 50% less because the principal cost of everything you've ever bought in your life is the energy. And once we get in a new energy system, the cost is going to go down. And last thing, in terms of your question, a house that was $200,000 in 20 is now 400,000, not because it's worth more, but because the dollar has had a dramatic drop. Well, once we go back on our commodity-backed system, the dollar is going to be worth $1, and that $400,000 house, it might cost $40,000.
Wow.
So the things that are going to come to the people of this world in forms of the wealth transfer are going to come in many ways, but it's going to bless us and blessed us. And like Trump said, you're going to get tired of winning.
Thank you, Larry.
That's what.
Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
All right. Stay with me
Always
just
a
one
pleasure.
second. Stay with me for a second.
Okay, let me see. Okay, so that's pretty interesting advice. So 1 million Vietnamese dong is $60. So if you get, let's say 5 million, that's around $300. So if that doubles, that would be 10 million. So even if you bought 1 million at 60 and it doubled, that'd be 2 million. If you bought 45 million dong, it would be around $3,000. And if that doubled, that would be 90 million. Okay, so I hope he's right. But I think it's a low risk, high reward investment in Vietnamese dong. I would do it as soon as possible, and then silver, because silver could go up. It could go up 5 times in value, definitely double, but double, triple, 5 times, maybe more. So just keep an eye out for that. But I will put the link for both videos. David Nino Rodriguez, I think they did that video a couple days ago. And then also Larry Ballard just started his channel. So I'll put that, and then exchangeamerica.com. I'd look that up online. So if you want to invest in Dong, you can get it there. And I think it's like 2-day delivery. So if you get it today, order it today online with a credit card, you can get it in a couple days. But check it out and see what you think. Okay, thanks. Have a good day.